You go in the middle of the woods. You go in the middle of the woods.
That's right. We're going to go in the middle of the woods for this video about a article that came out in this Daily Beast, the Daily Beast website, about a guy we make fun of on this channel. He goes by the name of Tim Pool. The reason we make fun of him is because his channel is legitimately funny.
You go in the middle of the woods.
Like, he is an odd character, and the content is so silly and stupid that it's very easy to make fun of because it's funny on its own. So because we make fun of him on this channel...
You go in the middle of the woods.
I was watching a lot of his videos where he was really foaming. He was getting his audience, who are Trump supporters, to foam their pants, really squeeze their pants, really twist those old navies up about how Trump was definitely going to win.
Trump 2020 landslide, even with everything going on with COVID. I think that's what we can expect. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trump had a 49-state landslide. I think we could see a 49-state landslide. We may be looking at a Mondale-Reagan type scenario where Trump landslides 49 states.
Then when he didn't, that the election was stolen.
Honeymoon is over. And people in media are starting to realize that Donald Trump isn't giving up. And in fact, he does have multiple paths to victory. You see, many of these people were playing checkers while Donald Trump was playing 4D chess. But I believe it's fair to say there will be enough voter fraud to question the results of the election. What amount of voter fraud would be enough for the media to say, yes, it exists?
So he got them real riled. Maybe not their fault. Absolutely not their fault. But not the brightest people, getting them real foamed about this. He also uploaded a video where he was kind of, let's just say downplaying the possibility of exactly what happened on January 6th.
Newsweek says exclusive threat of pro-Trump violence in Washington overshadows inauguration security plans. Wary of the threat of Trump instigated and Trump supported violence in the Capitol. Oh, I just love the depravity of these news outlets. When did Trump tweet, go get violent and instigate violence? Trump said, be there. It'll be wild. What does that even? I'm having a party. Everybody, you got to be there. It's going to be wild. What does that mean? Does that mean we're going to bring guns and it's going to be violent? No, it means we're going to have a party.
But here's the interesting part to this, and that I didn't know before I read this article, is that secretly, according to this reporter, he knew what was going to happen. Here's a quote from the article. Dude, I've had messages from people saying that they've already got plans to rush DC as soon as November 3rd goes chaotic, Poole said in early September during a recorded conversation reviewed by the Daily Beast. A few minutes later, Poole added, the right-wing militias, the Oath Keepers, the Three Percenters, and just the Proud Boys and Trump supporters, they're going to rush full speed to DC. They're going to take the White House and do whatever they can, and paramilitary.
You go in the middle of the woods. You go in the middle of the woods.
So I don't want to get into too much of a discussion about the Capitol storming thing because it's a little bit more complicated, and we know that kind of the mainstream media and all this crap are going to use it as a justification for Biden to do a bunch of bad crap and so on, etc. We can have that separate discussion. The thing that's interesting here, and that we all already know about YouTube and content creators like Tim Pool, is that he doesn't care. He doesn't care. Tim Pool is selling slim tummy tea, okay? Like when you're selling slim tea online, you're saying, hey, I'll put some tea out there online on a Shopify, and maybe there's some people that are stupid enough to think that this will make them skinny. That's what Tim Pool's doing. When you're selling that crap, you don't say, hey, I'm really concerned that this might not make some people skinny. You don't say that. You just want your money. You just want this.
You go in the middle of the woods.
I guess the difference is when you buy that slim tea, you just waste money. You don't end up getting yourself tased or killed at the Capitol because you are, unfortunately, because you're not lucky enough to be able to spot internet bullshit. I got tased and killed because I have the sound information of a guy who wears a beanie cap and thinks that the French Revolution should have been avoided by those people just going out into the woods.
You go in the middle of the woods. You go in the middle of the woods.
that's pretty much it for the article. That's probably the most interesting part of that article. It's kind of long. The Daily Beast kind of pads stuff out a little bit. They put a lot of like this kind of... So that to me is the funny one, but it's nothing we don't already know, which is just that, yeah, he's a con artist. He's making money off of people that aren't very bright. Again, not their fault. Not their fault, but they're not the brightest. And Tim Pool can put very low effort into hilarious videos and do this. And it's better than working a real job. So he does this. From the less fortunate of society. And people who are just demented. But there are a couple funny clips that they pulled out, and here's a really funny one. He's talking about how he's always really worked up and pissed off, despite what we saw in that private communication that the Daily Beast found. On his YouTube channel, he's always really pissed off about protests. So here we go.
But now, man, it's kind of the point where they lie every day. The media just lies about everything. They smash windows. They call it peaceful. There's a building being burnt to the ground and destroyed, and they call it peaceful. I don't believe in the Christian religion. I do believe in God, however. And I view our sort of purpose in existence is to collect energy and organize it in various ways. It's a very simple way of explaining it. It's what all life basically does, from self-replication to manipulation of the environment to then humans creating abstract thought. We take free energy and we organize it into more complex systems. Granted, entropy always seems to win out in the end, but it does feel like life serves a function.
Life finds a way.
When I see life on a large scale begin doing the opposite, destroying and ripping things apart, being a fire or a rot, it worries me that this portion of life is acting against the natural order, I guess you could call it. I'm not saying human.
I mean, did you hear? That's the riff. That's the riff of what, like a 17-year-old. Of like, look, I don't believe in God. I'm not Christian, but I believe in God. And energy gets organized in a way by humans all down through the ages. But this is going against that organization of energy, the people that I know my audience doesn't like. They are they're not organizing. They're doing a thing in the way that's against all the stuff that I just said. Against the against the natural order.
You go in the middle of the woods.
I'm going to start using that just for anything I don't like. You know, I get a ticket. This is against the natural order. Why did you wake up at 2 p.m. again? And the first thing you had was a soda. You criticizing me right now about how I live is against the natural order. I'm doing the natural order. It's a part of the natural order for me to wake up at 2 p.m. and instead of having a real breakfast, I have a soda from Sonic.
And right now, the way that you're making me feel is against the natural order. Thank you.
This is a funny clip that the article put a link to too. He mentioned some of the people he likes. Who are you, like, to quote this guy. Lock the gates! Who are your guys? Tim Pool tells us who some of his guys are.
To the face of Americans, Republicans, for the most part, few exceptions, sit back and let it all happen. While the Democrats say, I'd like to burn this country to the ground, the Republicans are going, no, wait, don't. Okay. There's a few people I'll give a shout out to. Obviously, Rand Paul. I'm always shouting that guy out because he's a fighter. And you've got Thomas Massey. He's pretty cool. Josh Hawley's good. Ted Cruz. He's all right. And everybody really likes Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's a fighter. And for that, I absolutely respect that she probably has two spines, to be honest, because she's got so much spine. She's willing to call out the establishment, the Republicans, the Democrats. Unfortunately, you got too many Republicans.
Hell yeah. Hey, audience, what I'm going to do is I'm going to chew up your food for you, chew it until it becomes liquid, and then baby bird it into your mouth. Hi, I'm Tim Pool. Please don't forget this, though. And then when you give all to me, what can you do?
You go in the middle of the woods.
I love that he's like this Marjorie Taylor Greene lady. She has two spines. She's such a badass. she's not backing down. And I guess what he means by that is like that she won't wear a mask in a Chipotle, probably. That seems to be what that lady spends her time doing. She really just does seem like a public nervous breakdown waiting to happen at any moment, that lady. They also put a lot of links to Tim Pool Clips, which is a Twitter account that clips out really funny and bizarre Tim Pool clips. And they put this one. Here we go.
One of the things that gets me is that even on a show where we're not going to censor ourselves, we still say the N-word. And I think that's more offensive than actually saying the word. It's so bad that we have to dance around it. That's so sickening to me.
It's
And in the, on this and in the Daily Beast article, they're like, and obviously like right-wingers wanting to say the N-word, not a good look.
You go in the middle of the woods.
If you're a right-winger and you want to say the N-word, you know what you can do?
You go in the middle of the woods.
Obviously, this is not good. This is not good, okay? The other part of this that they failed to mention is he's just stealing a Louis C.K. bit from 7 years ago.
I mean, the N-word. Literally, whenever a white lady on CNN with nice hair says the N-word.
So the article is behind a paywall, which is a little annoying if you wanted to read it, but those are pretty much the most substantial parts. There's a lot of stuff that I'm kind of like, but it is kind of funny because a lot of the article is basically him working for these By the way, another shocking thing is that he worked for Vice for a while, which is actually funny. We'll come back to that in a second. He worked for Vice for a while, and then he worked for another company called Fusion, doing these sort of like on-the-ground videos. And they didn't say the exact amount, but they paid him a six-figure salary for doing this stuff. And imagine being a company willing to pay Tim Pool a six-figure salary. But one of the running themes of this article, which I don't think that it's substantial enough reporting, to be honest, but that I do believe based on watching a lot of his videos, is that a lot of people who work for Vice... A lot of people who work for Vice were like, yeah, he would just kind of send us these videos. We would send him somewhere where protests were happening. Instead of being on the ground, he would just kind of like send us videos of him in his hotel room. A lot of the video that he sent us was unusable, which I just liked. And a lot of people at Vice said that he would come in and he would be kind of annoying. Like he would be like he would be wearing those Google glasses that everybody thought was a joke instantly the minute they announced them. He would walk around the Vice offices like recording people. They should have called them Googly Eyes. I would have probably bought one just based on the name if they got that. But I would only use it.
You go in the middle of the woods.
The only place I wouldn't go filming strangers. I would.
You go in the middle of the woods.
To use it. Okay? So yeah, Tim Pool's a hilarious character. I mean, of course, the bad part of Tim Pool is that there are people out there who are unfortunate enough to believe this stuff. But what's interesting about him is that he's just one of those people who will do anything for money. Like he will just do anything to not have a real job and do anything for money. And including making content that's so stupid, it makes your brain turn into mush, I think. So here's his hilarious video from today. Here we go.
In a shocking video posted by a local reporter in Texas, illegal immigrants are seen being walked through a border security gate and into a waiting Border Patrol vehicle. According to this reporter, 300 plus people had already crossed today. And now, because of escalating COVID cases due to the Delta variant, Mitch McConnell and many Democrats are actually saying, well, maybe we'll have to lock things down. Already we're seeing Los Angeles with mask mandates, Las Vegas with mask mandates. But shouldn't that be a good reason to make sure we are screening the people at the border and not just letting them walk right through?
This is like the quintessential perfect Tim Pool video because there's a bunch of stuff. First of all, he's always super pissed off about the mainstream media is lying. I mean, Fox News says this kind of stuff all day. Like, this is basically 24/7 Fox News. That's first of all. But this is perfect because for his audience, he has to somehow be anti-vaccine, also anti-COVID, because you don't want to get COVID, and anti-immigrant. I wanted to look this up because I didn't know. But the main reason why there are spikes in coronavirus cases right now, and why the more infectious one is spreading as well as it is because people are not getting vaccinated. This is from NBC. I'll read you a quote here. Health experts say that vaccination rates are the main difference that defines outbreak severity, with Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky calling the latest outbreak a, quote, pandemic of the unvaccinated, unquote. So this is a genius move by, Tim Pool, who lives in a world without parents on his summer camp compound, with all his buds, the long-haired guy, the girl, Steve Bannon. What he does here is, health experts are saying the reason that this is that there's spikes is because people are not getting vaccinated. So he's still doing all these anti-vax posts on his YouTube channel and on his Twitter, doing tons of anti-vax stuff. So what's causing the spike? Oh, the people my audience already doesn't like. Others. Those people, the others. It's just like he threw a dart at what does my audience not like? And he's like, I'll close my eyes, throw a dart. Oh, immigrants, of course. So there we go. One of the funniest YouTubers out there, Tim Pool, tricks people into giving him that. I did watch one of his live stream once. I think it was the Steve Bannon one. Man, oh man, does he make a lot of money on those live streams. People are just making it rain. They're just, So he figured out a way to trick dummies, and that's how we do it. And if you don't like it, you know where you can go, right?
You go in the middle of the woods.
Thank you. Hey everybody, and thanks so much for watching this video. Like all the other YouTube and podcast perverts, I now have a Patreon. Every week on this Patreon, I'm uploading 2
Exclusive.
Patreon exclusive shows. They're like real shows, more produced, more edited.
Behind the scenes show where I reveal all my secrets, and a show where we go deep on an important topic that you will want to know about. Also, you get the daily and complete live show audio-only feeds. And at the top level, for only 25 bones, you can become a producer. These people that you're seeing right here make this program possible. Without them, nothing. It goes right in the toilet, right in the toilet, and in the trash, and we set it on fire. It's these people who make it work. So please, for Christ's sake, become a patron. Bye-bye, love you.